Coca Cola 600 on Fox is sponsored by Coca Cola. Open a Coke and enjoy the race.
Hey NASCAR fans, thanks for helping Coca Cola celebrate 125 years of sharing and opening happiness.
That's Denny Hamlin, who runs in 5th place behind Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, A.J. Allmendinger, and Jeff Burton. David Stremme has just taken his car to the garage area out of the race, as has Lakeland, Florida's Joe Nemechek. So, Darrell, are you racing your car right now, or are you chasing your car up the racetrack, hoping to hang on till it gets darker and cooler?
Right now, the car's driving you. You're just a passenger in this car right now because it's sliding all over the place, and you hit it. You chase it around. Wherever it wants to go, you go with it. Later on, when you make a few changes and the sun goes down and the track tightens up, things will get a little bit better, and you can start driving it the way you want to.
I wish you'd look at that track temperature. Certainly the ambient is important. That track temperature, 126. A.J. Allmendinger in that 43, he has been working on our pole sitter, Brad Keselowski. Finally gets him here on lap 24.
That is for 2nd place. 2 seconds behind race leader Carl Edwards, who just put a lap on Robbie Gordon.
You know, the best thing you can have tonight is a fast car. Carl Edwards got a fast car. It looks like Allmendinger does too. The other thing that's maybe a little bit better than a fast car, and we'll see it here in a little bit, is a fast pit crew. If you got both, hello.
Tony Stewart, his and Ryan Newman's cars running up in the order. Actually, Stewart's back at 25th. Newman is at 13th. Let's take a ride with smoke, Darrell.
Really tight through that center, bud.
Coming down here toward turning. He needs some adjustments. You can hear that. He's tight. That means the front tires won't hook up and turn. Want to run that white line. Get that left tire. What you try to do is get that left tire on that white line. There's some grip there. Push out to the wall. And listen how we say we back the corner up. What that means is you get out of the gas way early. But listen how quickly you get back to the gas. So rather than wait until you get all the way to the middle of the corner, you're backing the throttle before the center. That gives you a lot of corner exit speed. And as you can see here, that's a pretty quick lap around here, and a guy that's not terribly thrilled with his car right now.
Stewart, the winner here in October of 2003. Now he's dropped 5 spots since the start of the race. Biggest movers going forward: Regan Smith, Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr. They've all picked up 3 spots. There's the Southern 500 winner, Regan Smith.
And remember, Regan Smith, even though he qualified 20th, Mike, you talked about him before the green flag, had to go to the rear of the field because of an unapproved transmission change after qualifying.
And there's McMurray, who's picked up 9 spots as well.
This place was so good to Jamie McMurray last year. As he won the race in the fall, finished 2nd in the Coke 600. There is his teammate Juan Pablo Montoya, who is definitely searching the high line.
But look at that thing accelerate. That's what you want. When you get that high line, you get such an acceleration out of the corner. A lot of momentum down the straightaway, and you can really make some good passes. It's a great way to pass people.
Montoya has won the Grand Prix of Monaco. He's won the Indianapolis 500. He's won in NASCAR, but never the Coke 600. We'll see. Clint Boyer trying to hold off Matt Kenseth in the 17, and his teammate Greg Biffle. Let's get an update on the Biff. Steve.
Guys, an update on Greg Biffle. It turns out it's not his ignition. The cool box that blows cold air on him will be changed on the first stop, and that could be a big issue as hot as it is right now.
And that's going to be a major change. I'm not sure that's something you can do in a real quick hurry.
When we talk about air conditioning, it's not like you have in your passenger car. On top of his helmet, there's the hose right there. And that blows cold air, or cool air. It's not even cold. Cool air down on top of your head. And you know, Mike, they say keep your head cool, the rest of your body will stay cool. We've seen that demonstrated many times in this sport. Guys lose their, lose their
lose their cool.
Yeah, lose their cool.
Yeah. Here's Matt.
Temper.
And DW always trying to stay ahead of the game. A few years back, Jimmy Johnson went to the Gatorade Institute, and they worked on making him sweat to see how much he sweat as far as how much hydration he needed to take in or not take in. And he's also recently changed his workout program. More of an endurance program. He started working out with the pit crew guys, starting to work on the short burst, trying to get the total package. To go to victory lane, you got to have the total package nowadays in NASCAR.
Yeah, well, you got to have endurance. It's a lot like an endurance runner. Like I always told people, we don't have to carry these cars. We just got to drive them all night, 4.5 hours. So you got to be able to endure through the heat and everything.
There's Tony Stewart, and it's over 130 degrees inside that car. You see we have a digital thermometer mounted right there. 130 something.
34 looks like.
Wow.
34. Got that big furnace blowing back on him.
33 laps complete in Charlotte. Carl Edwards leading A.J. Allmendinger by nearly 2 seconds.
Number 99 is going 100%. Find out what's next for Carl on NASCAR on Fox.
The Coca Cola 600 on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, by Toyota, and by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Goodyear, more driven.
Carl Edwards still leading our aerial coverage by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires for the proving grounds of NASCAR inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. 38-39 green flag laps so far as Edward leads A.J. Allmendinger by 2.2 seconds. Then Brad Keselowski, Jeff Burton, and Denny Hamlin remain the top 5. Greg Biffle having cool box issues. Here's Jeff Hammond.
Mike, what we're talking about here, to take a look at Greg Biffle, who's the one who's having the problems, is here's what the air conditioning looks like. They take air in through this hose. It goes into the unit, helps to cool it down. As Darrell was talking about, here's the helmet with the hose that goes around the head. But guys, here's something I think we don't need to overlook. This is the filtration system as part of this cool box unit. When the air comes through, they cool it, but they also put it through a carbon type filtering filtration system to get rid of the carbon monoxide that these cars put off. That alone could also, spell trouble as far as these drivers are concerned. Not only cooling, but fresher air to the driver.
Thanks, Jeff. Here is an early or maybe unexpected pit stop for Jamie McMurray. And at third place, Brad Keselowski gives way to Jeff Burton. Burton moving up to third. Krista.
Well, you mentioned Jamie McMurray. They did not have the strength they had at this track in the fall. In fact, crew chief Kevin Bonomanian told me, not sure how we can go from being so bad with a setup that was so good. They have taken an early stop here, coming in for their 4 tires. They knew track position would be key, but they said right now it's just not very good.
Marcus Ambrose is on pit road. This would be a little early, would it, Steve?
Mike is close to their window. Marcus Ambrose saying his car is loose in, tight in the center, and loose off. Krista.
Kevin Harvick right now furious. He said as bad as it was in practice, well, it's terrible now. You would think we would have it figured out in 4 hours practice, Matt.
And the 00, their team going to make some significant changes. He says the car just way too tight, losing way too much time down in 1 and 2. Dick.
And the 56 car, Truex, is in for his pit stop. Didn't qualify as well as they'd like to. They're going to have to make some adjustments.
Allmendinger's in. So is Matt Kenseth and Greg Biffle. Dick.
And here comes the 43, Allmendinger. He had qualified in the 2nd position. He pits out of the 2nd position. Steve.
And a plan is in place for Greg Biffle. The team is making sure that the right team members are in the pit box so that they can go over the wall and replace that box. Krista.
Kyle Busch saying his race car is a little bit loose in early on, coming in for his change of slight adjustment. You see the wrench going in the back, a slight wedge adjustment for Kyle Busch.
Labonte, Smith, and Menard are in. So is Reagan, Blaney, Boyer. Matt.
And David Reagan, Mike, was backing up his entry to the corner to try to help that 6 car through the center. It was a little too tight The car was loose off. They made a track car adjustment. He's away. Meanwhile, the Army guys going to work. Newman's biggest complaint, the car was too free on exit. A couple different adjustments. You can see him cranking on the wedge wrench, and he's away.
Kurt Busch, Logano, Montoya on pit road as well. Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had picked up 11 spots since the drop of the green flag, is in. So is Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. Casey Mears is done with his service. Here comes Mark Martin.
If you wonder why the 16 is in, he's had a entering and exiting the pits.
And Carl Edwards, the leader for most of these 45 green flag laps, comes down pit road to the attention of his crew. Steve?
And Mike, to DW's point, the team, Bob Osborne and the spotter, Jason Hedleski, telling Carl to be very careful coming down pit road. No adjustments to the 99. Dick.
Denny Hamlin pits at this moment. He started in the 4th position, has run very well all day. Hamlin has never won a race here.
Jeff Burton, the new leader, and Tony Stewart's in. Matt?
The surprise for Stewart, Mike, the car much tighter than they had expected. Air pressure change on the 14. Krista.
Drive up off has been the issue for Brad Keselowski. He said he's getting beat in the center as well.
Burton is in along with Landon Castle. And that should hand the lead back to Carl Edwards. Dick?
And Jeff Burton heading to pit road as well in car number 31. He said he's got a fast car, but they have to work on the entry. That's the only place they're not quick enough for Burton's car.
It looks like when it cycles all the way back through, possibly our leader looks like it's going to be A.J. Allmendinger in that 43 car there. You can see Carl Edwards in the 99, just about 4 or 5 car lengths behind him.
Marking at about half a second with Casey Mears in between, 1 lap down. Brad Keselowski goes underneath Jimmy Johnson, 6th place.
2 cars looking pretty good tonight. Card up there in the front, hanging on. Not looking too bad for Roger Penske.
The Dinger, ex-road racer, A.J. Allmendinger out in front of the Coca Cola 600 on Fox.